he's a true-hearted fighter. He's not just this young, timid boy that we discovered in season 1.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility.
Vinland Saga, Season 2, Episode 5. So, we're on the Path of Blood is the name of the episode. It is been a journey so far with Vinland Saga. I'm gonna tell you, it's been a journey. Going back through the manga because I had to, because I was like, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I don't understand manga the way I've been understanding it for the past 25 years of my life. Maybe. I don't know, right? I don't know. Let's see, right? Let's see. That being said, no, I was right. Okay, it's the animator's artistic viewpoint on the studio's artistic viewpoint of the manga. Okay, if you want to follow along in the manga, we're on chapter 50, 55. Sorry, we're on chapter 55, and up to this point, it's only 5 chapters. So they are literally copying shot for shot of the manga, page by page, and just basically transferring it onto the screen is what they're doing. I kid you not. Like, if you watch the manga, you're watching the anime, they're going side by side. They're like 5 chapters versus 5 chapters, like that. Great, awesome. Like, it's cool, but it's like, dude, you only have Netflix only subscribing to 10 episodes. Like, we got to get this story on the move, man. Like, condense all that into 2 to 3 episodes, and then push the story further along. But no, that's not what we're gonna get. So let me take you back to the 10th century, the 11th century. Sorry, 11th century AD. Right. So we are following the path of blood, which is Klut's path of blood. His father has died. We see Aslan kill his father. And therefore, Klut has now assumed reins of his army. He then becomes the Danish king. They all submit to him, and he starts his war path against England. That war path against England is going to be against, give me 2 seconds, let me grab his name, Erkan. Erkan the second is the king of England at the time. Well, not the king, he's the duke. So Wessex. Therefore, 2 people claim kings over over England. It is Klut, the Danish king, and then the Wessex dukes, which is Eklan. Eklan, they both come together and basically say, "I'm king of England." So therefore, they start a war, a rebellion of whose rebellion? Is it the Danish rebellion or an English rebellion? We don't know, because that's what the war is going to settle in the end. Action, man. That's what I tell everybody. This is what we've been waiting 5 episodes for. This is why we're going into episode 6, into action. It's going to be, it's wartime. That's why we love Vinland Saga. Now, I hear on the Twitterverse and I hear on the anime groups, oh no, this Vinland, you're misinterpreting Vinland. This is what, no, Vinland is literally about Thorfinn discovering the new world is what it is. It's his whole saga. It's his memories back. It's people remembering back to the bloody path that led Thorfinn to the new world, right? Which is, the new world is like, Canada, right? Because it's not America. It's Canada. It's that they discovered. So we can see a little bit of that already happening, as in Thorfinn's father. His dress and his garb, first of all, he's dark, and his hair is straight black. His garb is a more like traditional Native American or Northern Native American tradition. So we can already see that kind of like a resemblance, like, okay, Eric the Red has already made it out there. They're already bringing back people from that side of the world. Cultures already being mingled together. So we can already see that kind of thing happening, which is awesome, which is great. Those are the little details that if you actually, paid attention through Saga 1 and now the second saga, where you can pick up on these details. So, Clute is finally made king. You can see the scars, the battle scars on his face. These things are really pronounced now. That's awesome. We know now he's a true-hearted fighter. He's not just this young, timid boy that we discovered in season 1. So, with that being said, Clute is expecting his army. He meets Loki and basically tells him, "Hey, did you get the stuff ready to go?" He's like, "Yes. You didn't have to come down over here and meet America, which is soon. It's the Kingdom of America. Later down the road, that's what we named the Great. Thank you, USA. The Great America. But yeah, it's the Kingdom of America. They're in the lands. They're fighting over it. So he asked Loki, "Hey, did he bring the troops too?" And he's like, "Yeah," but he's like, "You don't have to meet with this guy. He's a nobody. Let me handle it." And he's like, we could finally see him like take that charge. He's like, "No, it's my battles, my kingdom, my people, my soldiers. I'll talk to him. We'll discover his true intentions." Right. So he makes that meeting. And then out of nowhere, our favorite dude, Thorfinn, not Thorfinn, Thorkin, comes out of nowhere, riding his galleon wagon straight into this army, jumps out. Man, everybody tackles him like, "What are you doing, man? You're crazy. You can't just approach the king like that." And he's like walking like, "Oh, man." And then he's like, I hate when you stop my battles more than I hate frogs." And like everybody like, "What? Like frogs? Like this is the one thing that stops this mighty man is a frog?" So it's hilarious. I don't know whether he hates it because he doesn't like to eat them or he thinks they're poisonous. Who knows, man? Like he's just like frogs out of everything, right? So he basically calls out Clute and says, "Hey, Clute, you're changed, but you're soft still. The only reason why I'm following you and the only reason why I'm not having like deserted this army is because you let me fight my battles." But you can see this turning point of Clute is like he's actually turning an army into the army. So he still remembers his Christian way in the sense that murder, death, kill, raping, pillaging, all of that stuff that Vikings are actually, military. Like one of his men says, this is a military tradition. Like he's like, we got to cut that out because now as we're integrating into England and bringing in, English soldiers into the mix, we can't have this kind of mentality because we're going to break the army. So he's trying to unify his army and make his army a lot more structure and a lot more discipline. And we can see that already happening, right? Because the soldiers behind him are not just running around and stuff like that. And some are and some aren't, like we can see like a divide in his army. So we know that Clute is finally like wising up, getting that intelligence that we need, that his father actually lacked, and we learned through history like Clute did because he becomes a great king in there. Now, that being said, once Thorkin does his thing, Dorkel does his thing, they're like, hey, he's like, you're lesser than Floki, you're less than everybody, but you're not allowing me to fight. Let me fight. And he's like, no, he's like, I understand what you're saying. He says, I take it in great consideration. You are right, but there's time to talk and there's time to fight. And we're at time to talk because they surrendered and we need to honor that. They want a truce and we need to honor that, right? Because he's not just a rabid king like the way Thorkill can be, right? Like a rabid guy, just kill everything in sight. He can't. He's a king. He has people. He has to please, the people, right? He has to please them. So they then shoot back into this. Then they shoot back into their the camp, and he's having this meeting with this nobleman, and he's basically telling nobleman presents him with 8,000 pounds of treasure, and pounds and British pounds, right? They use pounds, not like 8,000 pounds, right? It's 8 British pounds is what they're using. So they back then it would have been pounds. I think. Oh man, I forgot the name of the actual words of their money back then, but it wasn't pounds. But he presents them with these with the gold, and then you could already see the trader, his narrow head, typical trope. He's like, "Oh, money," and everybody else around is with their square faces and a stoic looks and everything, and looking at the treasure like like whatever. Right? We see more than this, right? And so he's telling them, "Hey, we surrender. Here's 8,000 pounds. Go and leave our land and leave us in peace and stuff like that." And Clute looks at it, and he just gives this like menacing stare into the treasure and then into the guy's eyes, and basically picks up a rosary from a rosary with a cross, right? He picks up the rosary and then drops it and be like, "Hey, you're insulting me." And he's like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "You're telling the king to leave his land. You're telling the king that all my worth of the king, my kingdom is 8,000 pounds. Like I'm not here for gold. I'm here for the land. I'm here to squash a rebellion that you're right uprising in my land." And the other guy is like the father, the nobleman. He's like, "Oh crap, you're right. I approached this the wrong way." His son's like, "Oh, forget you. We go up for Edgar and the Duke of the King of Wessex." And he's like, "Oh yeah. Clute's like, "Yeah, I heard. There's another guy claiming he's a king, but there's only one true king, right?" And so he basically tells them, "Hey." Then they flash over to another scene, and it shows them a poisoned dog, and therefore starts the Danish poisoning. Like it's poison after poison after poison, like the attempts. That's basically how they did it back then. The way they killed you, the way that you took your throne was to poison you. Is it cowardly? In a sense, yes, it is a cowardly move to poison your adversary, right? You want to beat them on the field, right? But the way the Vikings looked at it is like this: all love is fair in war, right? Love and war, right? Like it doesn't matter how you ascend to the throne, is that you ascend to the throne, right? You can have a truce and they'll attack you in the middle of the night. It's war. That's how they view it. They view it as war. There's no boundary in war. War is war. Like you. So that being said, there goes. He leads that nobleman outside, shows him like he goes, "Hey, one fire." They light up a fire, and then they start seeing all these other fires. And he goes, and he basically symbolizes to him like look how far I got into your land. Now think about all my men in this areas. This is what's going to happen to America. I say America. It's America. This is what's going to happen to America if you don't surrender to me or do my bidding, right? It's basically what he says. So he's like, "Do my bidding, or basically I'm gonna take over your land." Just think about that. He gives them visualization. The young boy, his son was like, "Oh, we're gonna, Wessex and blah blah blah." But the father knows, like, "Oh crap, you got me in a tight spot. Like I'm gonna have to do what you do, or you're gonna kill me, whichever one comes first." So with that being said, he moves on. Time passes. Boom, one guy falls. Time passes, another guy falls. Boom. Finally, they get to Clute as basically king of England, right? They get to that notion that he's king of England. He finally ascends to the throne, and he's therefore king of England. So let's talk about how was the episode. It was good. I liked it. I liked the storytelling. I no farming. Like it was the plan. It was the mood, the tone, the attitude. Like everything we want Thorfinn to be, Clute is becoming, right? And I think that's kind of like the similarity that they're trying to show. They're trying to show like everything Thorfinn embodied his stoic attitude, his his mentality of being a badass, right? Like all that transferred over to Clue. Like he observed all of that and absorbed it and said, "This is the way I need to be." Right. And then it was like vice versa. All that timidness and unsureness and that weakness that Clue had transferred into Thorfinn, and not Thorfinn's like that. So that being said, that is the kind of stuff that I was like, okay, I get your storytelling. I understand. I'm here for the action. Thank you very much for the visualizations. Animation, great. They had 2 CGI movements in there, which was the horses being drawn across and then some soldiers walking, which was horrible. But other than that, animation was really good. I like the flashback of the storytelling because it's kind of they did a really good job because you could just drop into season 2 and basically catch up from season 1 without having to get into the nitty gritty, right? It starts this really good story arc for you that you can just eventually go back and watch season 1 without having really missed too much of a beat that you're like, oh my god, I'm so lost, what's going on, right? You're not going to understand a few people the names, you're going to understand the tone of the attitude of the of what's going on in the fight, right? So let me see what was that. So yeah, the animation great. I have to say, Nick, what were your impressions, or what do you think of this episode?
I'm not gonna be too critical on it because it finally gave us something different than emo Thorfinn and freaking just a whole farming system of that I learned from it. But I enjoyed it. It was something to see another character, to see a total change of him. You've seen his growth from season 1 to now, and like you said, you see his scars. You see the way his mind, because you started to see it a bit where he was talking about I have to change. You know, I have to change the way my thought process is after everything happened in the first season, because he has to run this army and he has to run this kingdom the right way. So I enjoyed that for sure. I did enjoy the where he's learning on the fly, like you said. He makes a deal and then they're saying he's soft, so he's like, okay, well, let me show you I'm not soft, and be intimidating to these people, and like I'm trying to work with you, but if you don't want to work with me, we can go to war. Like we're trying to have peaceful time here, but it's if you don't want it, that's fine. We'll go to war. And like you said, it's leading into the wars that we're about to get. And so I actually enjoyed it. Um, it was a good episode for sure of what we've gotten at least. If that wasn't your cup of tea for sure, then this episode was a totally different pace. I felt.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. When you said it was a change of pace, we've been suffering through 4 episodes of monotony, of very little storytelling, very little character development, very little, movement of this whole Vinland Saga. Like I think it really hurt. It really, really hurt season 2. That we're almost halfway through and we're barely getting to some type of action. It it saddens me to say that we had to go this far, 5 episodes in just to get a turn of events. Like it really does, man. Like I mean, I like Vinland Saga, man. I like it, but it's like takes too long, and that whole second season just took way too long.
Yeah.
But hopefully everything works out well. It says that the atmosphere, the change of tone, everything got us back into that fighting anime that we want to see. So I'm super excited. I'm trying to get the season 6 name for season 6. We need to buy a horse is the next one. So season 2 episode 6 name is we need to buy a horse. So it looks like we're going back to Thorfinn to learn how to buy a horse, guys. We're gonna learn how to buy a horse. Prediction. What is your prediction for it, man?
I'm hoping that it means like they're buying more horses for their army, but I have a feeling you're right where it's going back to Thorfinn and them. But I hope it starts to tell his story of what's next of this, because we know him and Aaron are they know each other, and like you said, this is the story of how they met. So I'm hoping if it's that, then we get to move the needle forward and get away from the same thing that we've been seeing for 4 episodes.
So my man Sid Hot from leisurebite.com. Y'all know I love this dude. I think me and him are on the same wavelength when it comes to Vinland Saga. He says that his prediction is the horse that helps the duel to push the logs onto the water collapse, as it is very old and can't carry the heavy loads anymore. The duel, mostly Inad, hatch a plan to get another horse to help with the setup. Yeah. Yeah. Hey guys, so when the society breaks down and we are all kicked back to the stone, kicked back to the 1800s, because internet, China launched an EMP to destroy all of our electricity. We're kicked back to the 1800s, where drawn horse carriage and everything. We are gonna learn. We already know, guys, how to cut the wheat, how to move some logs, how to set up the logs, how to chop a tree down. Now we're gonna learn how to buy a freaking horse. See, these guys, they're playing 40 chess on us, man. They're giving us all of the smoke, and we're over here making fun of it. They're going to be like, dude, they're going to write out a letter, and they're going to send it out, put it in our local paper. We're going to pick it up off of the street one day and be like, Vinland Saga taught us how to do all these things. And we're going to be like, hell yeah, we were prepared.
Oh, man. As sad as it is,
right.
In my head.
Episode 5, Nick, out of 5 stars, what did we give this episode?
For what it did for me, I'm going to give it a 4, because especially now that I know that next week's not going to be something I want to see much, but I'm going to give it a 4. It moved the needle, gave me new characters. It told a story. It's leading into what I thought was going to be more war. But yeah, I enjoyed the change of pace for sure than what we got.
All right. I think that is a super fair assessment of it. I have to agree with you on that. I'm with you. I give it a 4. No, we didn't get like really big action sequences, but we got to finally see Prince Clute, or King Clute. We got to see his progression in the storyline. We got to see this through. Like, there's this war part, slave part, new world part, and then it ends. So, I mean, there's definitely 4 more seasons to it. Will this be the bane of every saga that we have, every anime that we have? Like, they have that one season where everybody's just like, I mean, One Piece just skip like 4 seasons and jump into, or what is it? Like, you could skip the first 2 or 3 or something like that. What can you skip in there?
Jump to Wano, and then you're the rest of it you don't need to watch. It's like all the first seasons.
Yeah, you could like skip like a couple of seasons or something like that in One Piece, and you would be
this
like
is now
totally fine. Like,
yeah,
like you'd be like totally fine. You would have not missed a thing. Like you can literally catch, like understand everything from that season forward.
Yeah.
Like we all have that in anime, right? Like there's just that whole arc that we're just like you could just jump over it and you'll be totally fine. Like so maybe this is it. I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I'm reading the manga now because like I'm like I get on these and now like I don't know if you notice, like if type in Vinland Saga, SLG Network, and then watch our videos, right? And then go and look at to like everybody else's video. Now everybody's bashing Vinland Saga, right? Not that like we bash it in the sense that we hate Vinland Saga, is that we expected it to be a lot more, a lot grander, a lot more action, a lot more fast paced, like the way season one was, we're expecting that. And now everybody's kind of like coming on board with us because they're like, oh my god, like this isn't what we thought. They're trying, and this is what I tell Nick all the time. They're simping for the creators of this, and I go on their Twitter all the time, and I kid you not, I go on their Twitter on all the time, and I say, what are y'all doing, dude? This is horrible. This is trash. This is no good. Like wrap this up in 2 episodes, man. We did not need four episodes of this crap. They could have fit this all in 2 episodes, would have been great, and then move us forward. So now everybody's jumping on board. When we were the first ones putting out videos saying, like, this is not Vinland Saga, don't judge us because this is not Vinland Saga. Go back, watch season 1, and then you'll see the real thing. So that being said, I give it a 4. That's my rant. That's what I have to say. Agree with me, disagree with me, that's okay. Jump in the comments. No, Nick is brave enough to face those comments. He tells me, and then I'll address him into the video. I'll tell you what's up, man. Like, I have no problem. We can disagree to agree. We can agree to not agree. But I love your point of view. I love y'all beautiful faces. Y'all are what we make our videos go great. Please subscribe to all of our channels. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We're on all of them. Jump in there. Look what we got. We're coming up. We're rising up. We want your ideas. We want y'all to engage us. We want y'all to tell us, no, I disagree. This is the greatest darn anime I've seen since 2023. Or, hey, nah, man, this is really was. I agree with y'all. Let us know what other animes you want to watch. You want us to watch. What animes are you watching right now? Let us know, man. Like, are you watching? Tomo-chan is not a boy. Like everybody's into that one. That was hitting number 1 right now on Crunchyroll. I don't know. That's not my kind of anime. I don't watch that. But if you like us to watch it, we'll watch it. We'll tell you, hey, what's up, man? This is a great anime. It's a hidden gem. Or like, nah, man, that's not me, bro. I've already told you that's not my kind of anime. Or you want us to do the popular ones, My Hero Academia. We could jump on that train, but what we want to bring you are hidden gems that you're not really familiar with so that you can familiarize yourself with the wonderful world of anime. And that is everything from like Blue Locker to isekai to, shoujos to horror to Japanese, horror, psychological thrillers, there's just a ton of myriad of things, animes out there that you don't have to just watch on Hulu. You can watch on, other animes that offer you a lot better content than just the same smash and grab hero arc that is. So springtime is coming up. Everybody knows that's when they start the new cycles of anime. So it starts in April. So we got Demon Slayer coming up, Dr. Stone, New World coming up, Hell's Paradise. Then we got what else is going down that is good? Eden Zero second season. If you haven't watched Eden Zero 1, it's not trying to get the name of it, and I keep on forgetting to look it up. It's one of those animes where they go into the virtual reality world. So it's not an isekai. It has a different name to it, and I keep forgetting the name to look up the name of it. But Eden Zero, if you haven't seen it, season 1 is really good. If you're into like the whole Sword Art Online thing, this is similar to it, but it's like kind of the OG ones. It has that OG feel. Sorry about that, not OG1, but it has that OG feel to it. So that being said, we got a lot of great things coming out. We got a lot of great shorts coming out, so please check them out. I know, Nick, you work awesomely hard on those things, so please go show the love, support them. But that ends Vinland Saga. That ends my rants. Y'all know I go on these little tangents at the end because I like it. I love anime. It's what I've loved to do. I've loved to watch since I was a little kid. Not a little kid. Well, yeah, if you count Dragon Ball Z, man. I mean, like back then we used to watch Dragon Ball Z on Channel 7. That's like I'm giving out our location. like we used to watch on the Spanish TVs. I knew like 2 licks of Spanish, man, and I had to watch it. It was not dubbed. It was not subbed. It was in Spanish, So that's how I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. Was on Spanish television, like Saturday morning, like at 6 a.m. in the morning. It used to come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that being said, we love y'all. Thank you. Please subscribe to all of our channels. Everything will be in the link below. Please engage us in the spots. But that's it for Madara's Corner. Madara loves y'all. Peace.